Throughout the long journey of human history, I have witnessed moments of courage that reshaped entire generations. But sometimes, the most powerful stories come not from warriors on ancient battlefields, but from ordinary women who refuse to stay silent, refuse to stay broken, and refuse to let fear write the rest of their lives. Today, I will tell you about one such woman, a woman who walked through violence, but walked out stronger, sharper, and determined to protect others. Listen closely, because her story carries lessons that can save lives, strengthen spirits, and remind us what resilience truly looks like. She was once just like anyone else, living her daily life, unaware that one night would change everything. A violent attack tried to shatter her sense of safety, her confidence, even her belief in herself. But history has always shown one truth. When pushed to the edge, humanity discovers its fiercest strength. And so did she. Instead of letting fear define her, she allowed courage to transform her. Instead of shrinking back into the shadows, she stepped forward into the light. Her healing didn't begin with forgetting, it began with learning. Learning how the body reacts under pressure, how awareness sharpens survival, and how preparation protects the vulnerable. She trained day after day, rebuilding herself from the inside out. Every punch, every stance, every technique became more than self-defense. It became self-respect. And slowly, her pain evolved into power. Her fear evolved into clarity. Her experience evolved into purpose. She realized that staying silent would help no one, but speaking up and teaching others could save countless lives. That realization became her turning point. She didn't just want to heal, she wanted to prevent. She wanted to make sure no other woman felt helpless the way she once did. And so, she became a self-defense trainer, a guide, a protector, a warrior shaped not by violence, but by survival and commitment. Her classes were different. She didn't just teach kicks and strikes, she taught awareness, boundaries, emotional strength, and the courage to trust your instincts. She reminded women that facing danger doesn't mean you're weak. Refusing to give up makes you unstoppable. She taught them how to walk with confidence, how to react with clarity, and how to understand that protecting yourself is not just a skill, it is a form of empowerment. With every person she trained, she rewrote her own history. She turned her trauma into a shield for others. And in doing so, she became a symbol of hope for every woman who has ever doubted her strength. Human history has watched countless battles, but some of the greatest battles happen within the human heart. And when someone rises from the darkest moment of their life to lift others, they don't just survive, they redefine survival. They show us that strength is not measured by what we endure, but by what we choose to become after the storm. This woman chose transformation. She chose purpose. She chose power. She transformed a life-threatening attack into the turning point that awakened her inner strength and pushed her toward reclaiming her power. There was a time when she believed her life would continue quietly, untouched by the kind of violence she had only heard about in distant conversations. But life has a way of testing the human spirit at the most unexpected moments. When that night came, it didn't just attack her body, it shook the foundation of who she was. Fear tried to paralyze her, pain tried to silence her, and darkness tried to convince her that she would never feel safe again. Yet within that terrifying moment, a spark ignited inside her, small at first, fragile even, but powerful enough to survive the storm. She didn't see it immediately, but that spark was the beginning of her transformation. In the days that followed, while the world expected her to fall apart, she chose a different path. She refused to be defined by what happened to her. Every time fear tried to whisper that she should hide, she whispered back that she would rise. That silent promise to herself became the foundation of her strength. This was not just recovery, it was a rebuilding of identity. Instead of asking, "Why me?" she asked, "What now?" That shift in mindset became her first act of courage. She realized she could either let the attack break her, or she could let it break open a version of herself she never knew existed, stronger, bolder, more aware of her worth. As she moved forward, her pain became her teacher. She studied her emotions, questioned her fears, and began to understand that surviving wasn't the end of the story, it was the beginning of a new one. And in that beginning, she found determination. She wanted her life back, but she also wanted something more. She wanted confidence, control, and a sense of power no one could take away from her again. That desire pushed her onto a path she never expected to walk, a path where strength wasn't just physical, but emotional and mental. She embraced the challenge because she knew that rising after being broken is one of the bravest acts any woman can perform. With every step she took away from fear, she stepped closer to the woman she was meant to become. What was intended to crush her ended up awakening something extraordinary. Her story reminds every listener that sometimes the moment designed to end you becomes the very moment that reveals the depth of your courage. That night didn't define her, her response to it did. And with that response, she began rewriting her life with power instead of fear, with purpose instead of pain, and with a voice that refused to be silenced ever again. She rebuilt herself through self-defense training, proving that healing is not about forgetting the past, but rising stronger because of it. When she first stepped into the training room, her hands trembled, not from weakness, but from the weight of everything she had survived. The air smelled of determination, the floor echoed with practiced footsteps, and for a moment she wondered if she truly belonged there. But then she remembered the promise she had made to herself, the promise to never let fear write another chapter of her life. With that thought anchoring her, she took her first stance. Each day of training became a quiet revolution inside her. The movements were simple at first, raising her hands, grounding her feet, learning to breathe with intention, but each one carried the message that she was capable, that she was in control, that she could defend her own life. She discovered something unexpected. Every punch she threw wasn't just an act of physical force, it was an act of emotional release. Every kick was a step away from fear. Every drill was a reminder that she was no longer the woman who had once been caught off guard. She was becoming someone unshakable, someone aware, someone ready. But what truly transformed her was not the techniques alone, it was the mindset that grew with them. As she trained, she stopped seeing herself as a victim and began to see herself as a fighter, not in the sense of aggression, but in the sense of resilience. She learned that strength wasn't about never being hurt, it was about refusing to stay broken. And with every new skill she mastered, her confidence expanded. She walked differently, breathed differently, thought differently. She realized that self-defense wasn't just about reacting to danger, it was about preparing her heart, her mind, and her body to stand tall in a world that sometimes tries to break people who shine too brightly. Her journey taught her that healing is not passive. It demands courage. It requires effort. And it thrives in every small decision to keep going even when the past tries to pull you back. She learned to reclaim her space, her voice, her strength. And in doing so, she became living proof that the path to healing is not paved with forgetting, it is built with the bricks of bravery, one training session at a time. Each moment she spent pushing herself turned her pain into power and her fear into fuel, shaping a woman who no longer hoped to be strong, she knew she was. She turned her personal trauma into a mission, dedicating her life to teaching women how to protect themselves and walk with confidence. What happened to her could have ended her spirit, but instead it awakened a purpose so powerful that it reshaped the direction of her entire life. She realized early in her healing journey that her experience carried a message bigger than her pain. She had survived something terrifying, and she knew there were countless women who never received the chance, the knowledge, or the tools to defend themselves. That thought struck her deeply. It wasn't enough for her to rebuild her own strength. She wanted to make sure others could rebuild theirs too. Her story stopped being just her own. It became the spark for a mission that would reach far beyond her. The day she decided to become a self-defense trainer, it wasn't out of ambition. It was out of responsibility. She felt a pull in her heart, a clear voice telling her that the fear she once experienced could be transformed into courage for someone else. She began teaching in small spaces first, community centers, small halls, even open parks. She knew that every session mattered, because every woman she trained gained something invaluable, the ability to stand up for herself. And with every class, she saw fear fade and confidence rise. She saw shoulders relax, posture straighten, and eyes shine with newfound strength. She realized that empowerment wasn't a gift she was giving, it was a fire she was helping them ignite within themselves. Her teaching style was different because it came from lived experience. She didn't just show techniques, she explained why awareness matters, why instinct matters, and why every woman deserves to feel safe. She shared parts of her story not for sympathy, but to show the reality of survival and the beauty of resilience. Her authenticity became her greatest weapon. Women trusted her because she had walked the path they feared. She understood their doubts, their hesitations, their trauma, and she guided them through each step with empathy and strength. She turned training sessions into safe spaces where women learned not only to fight, but to believe in themselves again. Over time, her mission grew into a movement. She became a symbol of possibility, proof that the darkest moment of a woman's life can become the foundation of her greatest purpose. She taught women to lift their heads higher, to trust the power in their bodies, and to understand that protecting themselves is not aggression, it is self-respect. Through her dedication, she reminded every woman who crossed her path that strength isn't something you're born with. It's something you build, something you claim, and something no one can ever take away once you know it's yours. She became a symbol of resilience, using her voice, skills, and experience to inspire countless women to fight fear and choose empowerment. What began as a personal journey slowly evolved into something far greater than she ever imagined. People didn't just see a survivor in her, they saw a leader, a guide, a living message that strength is not defined by what happens to you, but by what you decide to rise from. Her story traveled from one woman to another like a quiet flame, spreading hope, courage, and the belief that no one has to remain powerless. Every time she spoke, there was a gravity in her voice, a truth that only comes from someone who has lived through darkness and emerged with light in her hands. Women came to her not only to learn self-defense, but to learn how to breathe again, how to trust themselves again, how to reclaim the confidence that fear had stolen from them. And every time she stood in front of a class, she felt the weight and beauty of her responsibility. It wasn't just about teaching techniques, it was about reminding women that they are worthy of safety, respect, and the right to walk through the world without shrinking. She taught them that strength is not loud or aggressive. Sometimes it's quiet, steady, and built from the bravery of getting up one more time after every fall. Her presence alone told them that healing is possible, that power is possible, and that transformation is possible. As her influence grew, she learned that her voice carried a force she never knew she had. She spoke at events, supported survivors, guided young girls, and collaborated with communities that had long ignored the importance of women's safety. And with each message she delivered, she didn't preach fear, she preached freedom. She emphasized that empowerment is not just a physical skill, but a mental shift. It's the moment a woman decides she is no longer defined by fear, no longer willing to silence her instincts, no longer prepared to let anyone else control her boundaries. She helped women see that their stories mattered, their strength mattered, and their lives mattered deeply. Her resilience wasn't just in surviving, it was in choosing to rise and then helping others rise with her. She knew that one empowered woman can inspire 10 more, and 10 can inspire hundreds. That ripple of strength, once started, becomes unstoppable. She became the reminder that every woman carries a warrior within her, even if she hasn't discovered it yet. And through her journey, she taught the world that bravery is not the absence of fear, it is the courage to move forward despite it, to stand tall despite it, and to rewrite your life with boldness, dignity, and an unshakable belief in your own worth. And so, as history, I carry her story forward, not as a tale of tragedy, but as a reminder that resilience is a force that can rewrite destiny. Remember her journey when fear tries to hold you back. Remember her courage when doubt whispers in your ear. And remember her message. You have the right, the power, and the responsibility to protect yourself. Stand tall. Stay aware. Stay strong. Because courage is not the absence of danger, it is the decision to rise above it.